And there we go. Now I have a custom dashboard where I don't have to look at this because this is not pretty. Shout out to the creator. But for me, I'm not a terminal guy, so this is a little oogly, but it's informative. That's the key thing. It's informative. All right. What up, y'all? My name is Maestro Stevens with Iconic Templates. And in this video, I want to share with you all a free open source tool that allows you to look at the usage from your AI platforms, more specifically your IDEs and tools like Claude Code or Codex, or even OpenClaw and Hermes if you are working with those kind of agents, okay? But we're gonna take it to another level, and I'm gonna show you here in 1 sec. Let's get to it. All right, so what you see here is a free open source tool called CCUsage. Now, I saw this, it came across my feed when I was watching a YouTube video, and I saw it and I was like, okay, let me check it out. Let me see what's going on here with this tool, because I was looking for a solution just like this. I didn't know there was an open source version. And what this allows you to do, as I mentioned before, is it lets you look at the token usage from your different AI tools, and it even shows you an estimated cost. If you are paying for the API, it shows you an estimated cost of that API, but here's the key thing here, you're using the subscription. So for those who are power users or just getting into the AI game, this AI space, you want to monitor your usage and see how you're using things just to get an idea sometimes, but also it helps you make some informed decisions. And I'm gonna skip past this part right here. This is a GitHub repo. So for those of y'all who don't know about GitHub, it's basically a code repository, okay? I won't get too deep into it. There are so many YouTube channels that teach you about GitHub. I'm not a coder, so find another video for more explanation on that. But it's free. GitHub is free, and so is this particular tool. And the creator of this tool was being interviewed by somebody else on YouTube. So I watched the interview and I saw how he used the tool and what his idea behind the tool was. Here's some supported sources. So you can use Claude Code, Codex, OpenCode, like I said before, Hermes, OpenClaw, GitHub Copilot, Gemini CLI, the list goes on. But the key thing is that you can use Codex and Claude Code, and I know those are very popular right now. I'm not saying that they're the best, but they are very popular and what most people are gonna be using. A cursor is not on here, and a few other tools are not on here, but as you can see, they do have a big list, right? And so what I did was I started thinking, how can I use this in my day-to-day AI workflow, okay? And so I'm gonna open up terminal here, because the cool part is that all you have to do is copy this, and I gave the link of the repo to Claude Code, okay? So we're gonna leave the terminal open here. I'm gonna come back to it here in a second. I asked Claude Code, can we use this? And I added the GitHub repo right here. Claude said yes, it went through the motion. Now, I'm not gonna go detail by detail of everything it said. You can always slow this down or pause it if you want to. I didn't wanna restart this process because I ain't got time for that. Well, hold on, where my old girl at?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I ain't got time for it, right? So I said, well, I'm gonna just show them all my process and they can duplicate it, because this is all about templating. So when it comes to my process, I went back and forth with Claude. It said, does it want me to run the npx CCUsage? So this is a way to activate it. I said yes. And then I started to see it pull the information from Claude Code into the tool to be able to give back to me, okay? And it let me know this information here. Again, you can pause the video if you want to, but the cool part about it is it lets you the month, the tokens, the costs, the Claude cost, Codex tokens, Codex cost. Now, I told it I use both Codex and Claude, so you can see it's giving me both Codex and Claude token usage and token cost, and then it shows it combined, which is really cool. Now, remember I said that you can leverage this when it comes to getting an estimation. And so if you're using the subscription model, if you're using the $20 a month model, $20 a month plan, the $100 a month plan, or the free plan, you can get an estimation of what it would have cost you if you were going through the API, if you were paying per token. Because when you're using the plans, you're not paying per token. That's how they're subsidizing things for you, right? And basically what I believe and what a lot of people also say, and this is just, how do I say, business 101 economics when it comes to SaaS models, especially when it comes to these AI models, but you are hoping, you're betting as the stakeholders of the company, you're betting that people who are using the tool are not going to use it often. They're not going to maximize the usage. So what they don't use, they lose, okay? What they don't use, they lose. And that's how we get into what they're betting on, which is the money. They make more money the less you use the subscription. And that's what I mean by subsidizing, because you get so much API usage out of it. I'm not saying when I say you get so much API usage, if you were to use the $100 plan, the equivalent of the API could be $1,000, $4,000, $2,000, who knows? But this lets you what that looks like, right? If you were using it through the API. So that's the reason why it's really important for you to understand this, because if you don't, you may not really take advantage of it. Now, I went back and forth with Claude here, and then I asked it, how do I use it in the terminal? And then it let me know. You type this in the terminal, right? And once you type this in the terminal, it's gonna pull up your usage. Now, you might have to install something. I didn't have to install anything because I already had everything installed, but you might have to install something like NPX or some type of other technology. But the AI will tell you. You don't have to be a coder for this. Just ask the AI in plain language how to do the thing you're trying to do. Now, at first, I used the NPX way, and I'll show you what I mean by that here in a second. I use this, but as you can see here on the repo itself, the founder of this app, the creator of the app, recommends or said, hey, use Bun. So you can use Bun as well too. It does not matter. You can use Bun X or you can use NPX, and all you do is open up your terminal, whether you're in Mac or you're in Microsoft, okay? And then you add that there, press enter, and then look at it go. So now, it's showing me the same information that Claude was showing me here. It's just showing me a lot more information. Now, as much as this does not look sexy at all, at least it's useful. That's the cool part. It's useful. How accurate is it at this moment? I don't know. I don't know because I didn't create the tool. I don't know all the numbers. Heck, I don't even believe the usage limits that I see directly inside the tools themselves, because Claude has a usage limit view, and so does Codex. But they also be acting a little wonky. So I would say trust it with a fine-tooth comb, as they say, okay? Now for me, this I didn't like the way this looked. I wanted something that was a little bit more, how I say, friendlier to the eye. And so that's where I told Claude I wanted it to make me a custom dashboard. This is after I went to the terminal part. This is after I was getting some knowledge on, okay, do I use NPX? Do I use BunX? I'm not a coder, so I just want to know which one was better. Basically, Claude said it don't matter which one. One may be a little faster than the other, but it really don't matter which one, okay? Then I asked it, could I have a dashboard? So I told it I'm not a terminal guy, and I wanted to vibe code me. That way I can click buttons and be able to see what I wanted to see. Then it asked me, what should the colors be, blah, blah, and we went through that motion. All right, I'm just skipping past this. You can always pause it if you want to. So then it began to develop this dashboard for me, and it gave me a local host link. So when it says local, that means it's not online. Nobody can access this unless they hack into my computer, but it's not online. It's locally on my computer. And I thought that was really cool that it did that. So I can just press this button and open it up, but I'm not gonna do that just yet. I'm gonna show you how another way you can do it. So I went through that, and then I said, second question, would we be able to create a native app for the Mac? And then I gave it an example. So this was a paid version of the same concept of being able to see your Claude Code or Codex usage. And I basically gave it an example. AI loves it when you give it examples. That way it doesn't have to guess too much, okay? So we went through this. It asked me how I wanted to create the app, what architecture did I want to use. I just said, let's go with your recommendation. And then I also asked it, can we add anti-gravity? Now this is something that I had to learn, that anti-gravity wasn't supported. I assumed that because it had the Google, what is it? Where is it at? Right here. The Gemini CLI, that was the same thing as anti-gravity, and it wasn't. My assumption was wrong. So I had to learn, nope, no anti-gravity, okay? We went back and forth, and then I basically asked it to make the app and then make the icon for me, or make something so that way, again, I can install it on my computer and click it like an application. And we went through that process, all right? So let me show you real quick I'm gonna exit out of this one, because I already had the dashboard. I'm gonna exit out of it, and I'm gonna show you, if I go down here and I click this usage dashboard. Now this is the dashboard app that I made, and it's custom made for me, and it's using this free open source repo, this free open source tool is using the tool and putting a skin over it. So that way I can see it better. So I'm gonna click it real quick, and boom, look, it opens up in my browser. Localhost 37, 45, 55, 78. 45, 47. Some of y'all don't know nothing about that. It's all about the Benjamins. I messed up the numbers, but if you ever watch that movie, that's how it go, okay? So when it comes to the dashboard, which is really cool, is it separated Claude and Codex by color usage, right? I could have told it any colors, but I told it to use my agency brand colors. We have monthly here. Let me make it bigger real quick. We have monthly, weekly, daily, and session. When it comes to the breakdown, we have period, we have the Claude tokens, Claude costs, Codex tokens, and Codex costs, and then the combined. I custom added a few things when we first built this app. When I say we, I mean me and the AI. It did not look as polished as it look now, but then I gave it a couple more prompts and we got a little better based on how I wanted my user experience to be. And so that way I can click this button here and I can see things in the order that I wanted to. I really wanted to be able to see things in a certain order, whether it was most recent or I wanted to see something based on the past, right? And that was pretty cool that Claude was able to do that. I could have did it with a Codex, but I chose to use Claude Code to do it. So we have monthly here, we have weekly here, so it takes us a second to load. Now here's the thing I had to learn when it comes to the weekly. As of right now, Codex is not giving its weekly usage, right? So remember, this open source app has to pull from the other AI apps themselves. It has to pull the data out of them. And for some reason, Codex, aka OpenAI, does not give that information on a weekly basis, but Claude Code does. So that's why I used this the way that I used it. And as you can see, same thing. We can see, what is this? A weekly here. And so every week we can see, here's the week of 524, week of 517, week of 510. I can see if I were to pay this with the API, if I was using the API to call these models, I'd be paying this much. But because I'm not using the API, this is just giving me an estimation, and I'm using either the $20 a month subscription or I'm using the $100 a month subscription. I'm not really using the $200 a month subscription anymore because I get what I need out of the $20 and the $100 a month, depending on who's being more graceful, because they always go back and forth between things. 1 minute you think it's Claude, next minute you think it's Codex. It is what it is. Let me go to daily real quick. So we have daily right here. So I can see cost by period for my daily usage. Again, here goes every single day right here. And this is based on the month, the period, based on my calendar picker. So I can change the picker and change the period right here. And then down here, we have the breakdown where I can, again, go by least to greatest or greatest to least, or as I say, recent to past or past to recent when it comes to that. So we have 525, 524, 523. This is March 23rd to be specific. If you're May 23rd, May 24th, May 25th, 2026. And we can see the combined usage right here. All right. And then we have session. Now, to me, this was the really cool part by session. And now you can see some of my projects. I know for some reason, oftentimes we don't want to show too much because we don't want people to judge us. So that's why we're less transparent. I know a lot of creators that don't put a lot of their information out there. They'll create a dummy account or they'll create a mock-up for something just because they don't want to show their stuff. I'm telling y'all right now, I really don't care. As they say, I don't care at all right now because I want you all to learn. So as they say, haters gonna hate, people gonna judge no matter what. You got to keep it moving. When it comes to sessions, I thought the cool part was, and now it didn't have this. That's why I'm making it a big deal right now, because it didn't have by the project. I had to add that. And it was cool that it did. And when it did add, it was weird. It added numbers like ID number this and ID number that. I'm like, listen, that ain't gonna help me. I need to be able to see what see what the project is called. And so as you can see, it's doing the session breakdown, not just daily breakdown, but you can see the different projects. Now, projects are those folders that you would have in Claude Code or Codex that you host your information in, right? And you can create different projects. That's how you segment your ideas, segment different ways that you're using the AI. And as you can see, it does it by projects, which is really cool. I love that. So I know, okay, this is the session, but how do I know which project that session was in? And again, this is just something that you just have to ask the AI to do. So if I wanted to refresh it, I can refresh it here, boom, and you can see it will refresh. If there were background task running, we would see new projects. And then sometimes it refreshes on its own. I noticed that. I could see if that is something that is a glitch or it's supposed to work like that, but I said, I like the way this looks. This is pretty cool. And I thought that based on this, I have the information that I need in order to make more informed decisions so I can see what I need to do. Now, one thing I did notice that if it in Codex, because Codex has it broken down to projects and chats, which is kind of cool. If you're not using project and you're using the chat, it's gonna take the name of the chat. So notice here, it doesn't take the name of the session, right? Like, because every session gets named too in your project. Nope, it just takes the name of the project. But when it's not inside a project, it's gonna take the name of the chat. Hopefully that makes sense. And so let's do a real quick test and we gonna wrap it up. Man, hopefully everybody out there feel good real quick. If you were watching this video and you got this far, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you got any questions, let me know, throw it in the comments. Let me give you all Don DeMarco. Oh yeah, as the Kool-Aid man says. Now let me create a new session here and we're going to do a test and I'm just gonna say, hello, Moto. Some of y'all have no idea about that. You may be a little too young. And I'm gonna press enter and we're going to see, does this refresh? Does this create a new session? Right? And I'm gonna click the button here. I'm not gonna wait for the auto refresh. I'm gonna click the button here. Boom! We there. Now, here's another thing too. Everybody doesn't like to do AI videos, and I respect. If you are a content creator and you're doing AI videos and you're doing live demos of the AI, mad respect. Especially if you're not doing any editing, because the AI can be so unpredictable. I've done so many presentations where the night before, the week before, many times before, AI is working perfectly. Then the presentation happens and the AI messes up. But I digress. I just wanted to show you that it does work and it works on the spot. So remember, I said I used this GitHub repo right here, a free open source repo. Shout outs to the creator. Give him a star if you can. I don't really know his name. I might butcher it. It reminds me of Ryu. Shout outs to Street Fighter coming out this year. I cannot wait. That commercial, the trailer looked awesome. It looked awesome, all right? I know y'all probably like, this dude is geeking out on some Street Fighter. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Shout outs to RYOPPI, but shout outs to this person right here. Use this tool, then go to Claude or Codex or whatever you prefer and have it make you a, where is it at? Have it make you a custom dashboard, right? And after you make a custom dashboard locally, have it then create you an app, okay? Have it create you an app. Once you create an app, then ask the AI to make sure that the app will work after you restart your computer or you close the local. That was the key thing I did. I said, I don't want a one-time, one-off situation. When I close this, please make me, and let's see if I have it real quick. Mention Bunex, home directory, boom, session. I'll be able, native app, skip past here. Yes. After I restart my, okay, now how do I use it after I restart my computer? For example, will it just popped back up? I need to be able to open this like an app. And we went back and forth with that. And that's how I created the app on my computer. And then I put it down here. It's in my applications folder as well. And there we go. Now I have a custom dashboard where I don't have to look at this because this is not pretty. Shout out to the creator. But for me, I'm not a terminal guy, so this is a little oogly, but it's informative. That's the key thing. It's informative. All right. So if you have any questions, let me know. I appreciate y'all for watching the video. My name is Maestro Stevens with Iconic Templates, and I'm out. Peace.